to go run and pick up some parts from one of the local speed shops, and I want to take my Corvette ZR1. I like this car, but I want to drive it, tell you a little bit about it, and I'll tell you what sucks about it, and I'll tell you what is awesome about it. Ready? Alright, let's start with what is awesome about it. The sound. It sounds fantastic. Again, very basic setup. Right now on this car I have long tube headers, a custom LHT 3-inch titanium midsection which has the X pipe in it, and stock mufflers with the LHT tips. If you haven't seen those tips, they look just like the factory ones, except they are 1/4 of an inch bigger. 1/4 of an inch doesn't sound like a lot, but it definitely looks better. The other thing that usually sucks on Corvettes is the seats. On the C7 they made a big improvement, but on the C6 series, the 2012, 2013, the seat was much better. The leather quality is better, the shape is better, the comfort, and they offer it in different colored stitching. This car has the blue stitching package. It has blue stitching everywhere, as well as the seats. Also, the seats are leather with Alcantara on the inner parts here, and it feels nice. It grips you to the seat, you don't slide around, and obviously with the shoulder supports it feels like a proper seat. The display, it's not digital, it doesn't light up all kinds of funny colors and have all kinds of options and configurations. It doesn't have it. That's what you get. And again, this is just my opinion, I like this dash. I had the C7 with all the options. I spent more time looking to see what other options it had as opposed to just enjoying what was up on the dash and driving the car. The ZR1 does come with the boost gauge over here, which basically tells you if you're in vacuum or boost. That's about it. You're not going to put a lot of faith in how much boost am I running, because it's 0 to 15 with a bunch of dashes in between. Doesn't really tell you a whole lot. The car rides nice. If you put it in tour mode, which I have it in right now, it has magnetic ride suspension. It adjusts 1,000,000 times a second, or maybe not quite that much, but it will go from harsh to smooth in an instant. Also, it adapts to the road conditions. Can you drive one of these daily? Yes, you can. They are actually impressive on gas. If you drive in the city and drive it normal, it's not hard to get 18, 19, 20 mpg. Highway, I can still get 27, 28 without much problems. That's more than my V8 truck. On my truck, I just drive it like a grandma. So you could drive this daily. It's comfortable, the stereo is good, the air conditioning is ice cold, which is another important feature in Florida because it is hot here 92% of the time. The car handles impressively. It's something that you are surprised, because Corvettes are not known for handling in the early cars. In the C5, C6, and C7, now they are pretty much on par with high-end sports cars and the exotics. They're actually setting track records everywhere. I am not that pro that I can tell you how good it is on the skid pad or what it does at Willow Springs. I can tell you the tracks that I've ran this car on, it's impressive. It will hold, the brakes don't have an issue, it's got power for days, it's got more power than I can handle. And it looks good doing it. I look at the car and I like the way the car looks. That's another big feature. It's not just about horsepower, it's not about 1/4 mile times, it's how does it make you feel? Do you like it? Do you like the way it looks? Do you like the way it drives? Does it put a smile on your face? Is it something you want to drive again? That's the big question. It's not just about who makes it, what's the horsepower, what's the specs. How does it make you feel when you drive it? This car feels fantastic. That I read and watch is complaints about the interior on the Corvette. So this is my take. my background is Hondas. I've worked and owned a lot of Hondas, so to me the interior is really good. This has the 3ZR, which means it has leather, it's got pretty stitching. Everything about the inside to me looks nice. If you are coming from, say, a Porsche or a Mercedes, you're going to look at the interior and go, well, it looks kind of basic, it's not that impressive. So it all depends on what you are used to and what you are looking for. But to me, I like the interior. All right, so you see people talk about practicality, and they always use a reference, can you fit golf clubs in the car? Who carries golf clubs? So the back of the car is surprisingly big. If you did play golf, I think you could fit a lot of golf clubs back there. How about 2 5-foot sections of stainless pipe? Sound and then the crackles, that's like makes it, right? Yes, that makes up for the interior, the display, whatever else. The sound, the acceleration, the feel, and again, being supercharged, it makes all the power right off idle. It's not like a high RPM turbo car that requires RPMs to make the power. It's instant. It's the second you tap the gas, you got all the power, and between shifts, that lag that you sometimes experience with a small motor and a turbo, there is no lag, no power lost anywhere. Wherever you hit the gas, you got power. I mean, right here, 2600 RPMs, 4th gear. It's just go. It's just instant power. And then you close the valves, you're in 6th gear, you're just cruising. Then the valves closed, 72 miles an hour, air conditioning's on, we're running 1600 RPMs, instant is getting 31 mpg, average out on the highway is still going to get 27, 28, you're not going to get 30. The display might tell you you're getting 30, but you're not getting 30, you're getting 27, 28, which for a 638 horsepower car is pretty good. There's some lower horsepower cars I know don't get close to that. Now this is slightly modified. 638 usually makes about 525 to 530 at the wheels. This car is doing 585 on the wheels. So crank horsepower, based on that number, it's 720, 730 horsepower. And the car feels fantastic. Again, not just on the street, not just on the highway, hitting the gas. On the road course, it's an absolute animal. About this car, it only came in a manual 6-speed transmission. The transmission is by Tremec. It's a TR6060. It has carbon synchros and is a very tight transmission, feels very good. A lot of the Corvette guys will change that shifter out to a shorter throw shifter, but in my opinion, I like the slightly longer shifter, and it's still precise. You can feel the gear definition between each gear. When you start to tighten up that gear throw, it's very easy to miss shift, to go from second to first instead of second to third. So in my opinion, that shifter is perfect. Alright, that's the end of the little review of the ZR1. And again, I'm honest enough to tell you what sucks. I think the car is a fantastic car for the money. Well, then you look at a $200,000 car versus, you know, an $80,000 car and go, well, is it, you know, 3 times better? Also, something to ask yourself, and also do your research before you buy a car. It's not can you afford to buy it, it's can you afford to own it. That means once you've bought the car, let's say you buy the car cash, let's say you save up enough money, you buy the car, you give them the cash, you drive the car home, there it is in your driveway. How much does it cost to own? Owning it means how much does it cost for oil changes, transmission changes, brake pads, a windshield. Let's say the windshield busts. Can you buy a windshield? Can you afford it? Is it going to cost $2,000? Does it come from England? Does it come from Germany? Is it something available? Brake pads are going to wear out. Can you afford to put brake pads on it? Also the insurance. Is it $2,000, $3,000 a year to insure? Well, like the Corvette cost me, I think it's $620 a year. Well, again, it's a Corvette. They know they're not going to be driven as much as, you know, a Honda Civic, so there's less chance of you having a claim. Also, when you get into those type of cars, you tend to be older, a little bit more mature, a little bit wiser, and you tend to drive a little bit safer. They know this, that's where the numbers come from. So ask yourself, can you afford to buy it? Can you afford to own it? And does it put a smile on your face? That's the most important thing. If you can afford to own it, and it puts a smile on your face and you enjoy it, that's what it's all about, right? Be a car guy, enjoy your car, don't enjoy your brand, be open-minded. See you next time.